What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but it's about time I start working on this thing buried under this pile of stuff. First race this season is 8 days away, so nothing like kind of getting stuff done ahead of time. As you can see, still got stuff everywhere. This year has been the quickest start to a year as far as the composite side of the business with orders coming in, so huge thank you to everybody ordering parts. I've been way more than busy, but you know, kind of got to get this thing ready for next weekend. I guess the big change is, or at least I think the big change is going to be, where is it? I know I got them in here. There you go. ST3, which I got these decals made when I jumped to ST2, because back then, I guess that was what, 2 seasons ago now, I wasn't sure if I was going to run ST2 or 3, and in the Northeast region, ST2 is where all the cars are. Now that I moved down to Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic region, ST3 is where all the, the cars are. So what I'm going to do, I was underpowered in ST2, but I'm overpowered for ST3, so I'm going to ballast up. Hopefully I have enough lead bricks around to get to where I need to be. I'm still on my American Iron tune. This thing hasn't been tuned in, I think, 3 years now. So, I'm right around that 330 horsepower mark. So I need to add quite a bit of ballast, actually, but I should be able to get there. I guess the one advantage is I can put that ballast where I need to. But yeah, weight is never a good thing. So kind of is what it is, though. So yeah, let's kind of get all this crap away from the car, get it jacked up, and kind of see what we run into. Got the car up, got enough space around it to at least work. I found my Dremel, so that's a win at least tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and make a list of stuff that just comes to my mind. I know I have to do all of my fluids. So let's see, all fluids. So that would be oil, brake, definitely the diff. I'll put a link below my last race last season when I broke the diff, the ear on my old diff. So you can see the ear is here and it is missing on this side. So I got a cast iron diff in it now, picked up a little over 20 pounds from that. So diff, fluid, and what am I missing? Trans fluid. I think that's about it. I think there's antifreeze in this, so I gotta do water. Let's see. One of the last videos I did was when we went to the wind tunnel, so hence all the, wool tufts all over it. In the wind tunnel, the rear tires sit on a pad that's, I believe it's a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch. I gotta double check that, but I lowered the rear so when it's in the wind tunnel it's at proper ride height. So I'll do rear ride height. It's not worth corner balancing, but I will check alignment. That's another video I did, how I do my alignments with strings. I'll put a link to that below. Let's see, what else do I gotta do? Oh, I gotta get the wing well, I guess our Apex 8 is on it. Again, going back to the wind tunnel, the last time I did anything with this car, we were running all of our wings and some competitor wings across it. So I need to reinstall wing, hashtag please don't call it a wang. The diff bushings, let's see, so diff bushings, if you've been following me in this car for a little bit, you know that I swapped a S550 rear subframe in the car, and the swap has been pretty good. I went into the reasons why I think that tab on the aluminum diff failed. I'm going to remove those, I think they're called like diff lockout bushings or something. They just add a weird torque effect with the partial rubber bushing but locked out in the front. So what I'm going to do for this weekend, just remove them. I'm eventually going to turn down my own solid bushings on my mini lathe. So I got to remove those. Tech. I think not going to touch any front aero. I guess I got to put the duct back in again. That was out from the wind tunnel, tinkering around with stuff. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is kind of jump into this, see what I come across. Nut and bolt check. Might be worth, since I got 2 events on this rear subframe, the brackets that I made, just check any of my welds or anything like that. But yeah, let me kind of, I don't know, keep poking around and double check, I guess, my dates. I should probably order stuff in case I need any like belts or anything. They are valid until, oh cool, December 22. Cool, don't need belts or anything, so that's a plus. Window nets are 5 years. Oh, again, window net, December of 22. So you know what? All right, that's cool. I don't think I really need any like any dated stuff. So, all right, let's I'll get into it and kind of get you caught up to speed once I kind of, you know, get the wheels off and get underneath of this thing. All right, so something I did when I did this subframe swap is, if you see, I got 2 different color, you know, impact sockets. So the red is for the rear, and I painted the lug nuts red, so that way I know, you know, that one's for that. And blue, as you can see, so I painted these ones blue, because I never swapped the studs. They're just a different thread pitch on the S550 than, you know, stock 99 Mustang stuff. Pulling those out of my toolbox, I actually kind of forgot about it. So I would have been sitting there using the wrong one, or even worse, you try and put the wrong lug nut on the wrong stud and end up cross threading it, and that would have been a big pain. So little tiny things like that could just kind of help you out down the road. All right, so I dug all of my ballast out, and let's see, we have so we got a 26, 26, 31, 35, 30, I believe this is a 25, 22, where's this one? It's written somewhere. There it is, the heavy one. 37, 29, and a 14. So quick math, I think that's like 275 pounds. And to be a 10-to-1 at 330 horsepower, the car needs to be 3,300. I'm right around 3. I was like 2,070 or 2,090 with the aluminum diff. Now that we got the cast iron diff, that's 295 pounds. So like, I don't know, I might need to find like a brake rotor or two. And it also depends if the dyno reads a little bit high or low. I'm gonna be so borderline with ST3, but I'll be pretty close. If I'm over, I'm over. It'll be what it'll be. I'll take it all out and run ST2 against Ben. So it'd still be a fun weekend. So yeah, now the issue is how do I get all this ballast into the car? And you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I might want to double check the rules if there's a ballast limit. All right, let me kind of keep plugging away and get back to that. But to add to that ballast issue, if I had the flat floor, there's the pieces right there, which came off at Lime Rock. Well, my tire exploded and ripped one half off. I believe they were about 15 pounds each side. They're pretty big. So 30, and the diffuser maybe another 10 pounds. So like I could put 40 pounds of like aerodynamic parts on it. I have 8 days and I have, you know, a ton of orders to get to, so I can't really make myself parts till I get customer parts done. But yeah, I mean, this is a weird position for me to be in where I need to add a lot of weight to a car. So I'll figure something out. All right, so looked into it a little bit more, and to try and make all this make sense, hop in front of the whiteboard. ST3 has a 10-to-1 horsepower to weight ratio. Right now my car post race is right around that 3,000 pound mark. So I'm allowed to have 300 horsepower. That's also across an average of RPMs, so I could peak a little bit more than that, but you know, this car having my old American Iron tune on it, it has a flat tune. So flat tune is like as your horsepower comes up and hits whatever ratio you're allowed to make, the car is tuned to then just kind of make that horsepower for as long as it can. So that's a flat tune. But right now my car makes, this is where it gets a little funny. The dyno at the first race of 2019, I didn't get dynoed in 2020 because I used my 19 dyno. I never tuned this car. I don't have the ability to. Was 321 horsepower. The dyno at Nationals at the end of 2019 was 333 horsepower, I think. So at a 10-to-1 ratio, my car needs to weigh anywhere from 3,210 pounds to 3,333 pounds, if we're exact on the pound. The rules state we're only allowed a max of 250 pounds. Now, ballast is defined as only adding weight and having no secondary purpose. So yeah, I could, I don't know, install like my floor and my diffuser like I mentioned earlier. I don't know, put stock doors back on the car or something, but I don't know, I'm not really excited about that option. So if the dyno reads low and I bolt almost all of the lead I have, I would kind of be legal for ST3, but I literally have like a 30 or 40 pound window if the dyno reads low. If the dyno reads high at all, you know, I'm kind of not legal for ST3. Plus, let's take a look at it. I don't know if I pointed this out earlier. You can see all these bricks of lead. So to safely bolt all this lead to the car, plus the time it takes, I don't think it's worth it. So pretty much ST3 it is for, or I'm sorry, ST2 it is for me. So, you know, I can actually kind of look at trying to remove some weight, maybe get a tune, increase power. Another thing I thought about was making a restrictor plate. Making something out of aluminum that goes between the intake manifold and the throttle body with a slightly smaller opening would just kind of kill power a little bit. Again, I'm not excited about that idea either, but I would do that rather than ballast because weight affects a car during turning and braking, where if you detune it, even though it's the same horsepower to weight ratio, a lighter car will be able to brake faster and turn sharper than a heavier car with more power. So that would be option A. Option B would be, well, I guess option B is that. Option C is add all that ballast. Option A right now, just get this thing, raceable, because I'm in a little bit of a time crunch and kind of maybe figure this out later. All right, so while we're under the car, we are going to remove these differential lockout bushings. They're also in the front. Let's get a little light in here. So the front one, we're looking at it towards the front of the car. You can see how there's no bushing, it's just the factory rubber. But then if we swing to the other side, you can see how there's the lockout bushing. And the issue, I'm pretty sure, so the bushing being locked out here but rubber here, the weight of this moving introduced kind of like a leverage or a torque, and that's why the ear broke right about here on the aluminum diff. I'm not going to risk it, even though this one is cast iron. I'm just going to remove them until I can do just solid bushings all the way up to the diff. Alright, so now that the lockout bushing is out, you can see how much thickness is here. So this bolt is longer than the factory bolt, but since I just moved shops, I have no idea where the original hardware is. So what I'm going to do, you can see that's where the thread engages. So that's, I don't know, I could do some real quick math, but that's kind of long enough where what it threads into is probably going to bottom out on this shoulder here. So we need some sort of spacer. Unfortunately, whatever this is, like an M14, I believe, I don't have enough spacers around to take up this. It's probably almost like a ½ inch. So you could just stack some spacers and you'd probably be fine. But I do have this little bit of aluminum shim or something. So what I'm going to do is drill it out big enough, and on my mini lathe just part it in half, and then there's my 2 spacers. See how I have them stacked. Now when this goes through, it takes up some of that space. Alright, and I will come back and properly torque these afterwards. Alright guys, so I'm knocking stuff out. Just got done putting water in it. Don't worry, that's just a spill, not a leak. And I think I finally figured out what I want to do with this whole ST2, ST3 situation. And the answer is run my Toyos. So there are 275 versus, oh crap, forgot the lug nuts were in it. So you can see the size difference. And then obviously a Hoosier is a much stickier tire than a Toyo. But the way that the rules are written, you get a 0.3 modifier for a 267 up to a 283 millimeter tire, or 285 or something like that. So those are 275s. Then you get a 0.6 modifier for running a Toyo for a total of 0.9. That 0.9 at a 3,000 pound race weight allows me to have 330 horsepower. So I think I'm just going to run the Toyos. I think that's kind of like the easiest compromise. Might have to add like only one brick of lead as opposed to all of them. And what was the other thing? Oh, and then the restrictor plate, talking to somebody who's much more knowledgeable than me with these engines and tuning them and everything. These new engines, I don't think they're like old engines where you can just like throw a restrictor plate in and the power comes down. It'll kind of try and, you know, self-learn itself around it a little bit, and that might just be a host of issues that I kind of don't want to get into either without, you know, taking it to a dyno to get a proper tune. So yeah, I feel like this is like the third or fourth time I changed my mind on what I want to do. But yeah, I think Toyos are the answer for this one, or at least this weekend. Alright guys, so what I need to do now is figure out the back spacing difference. And I remember doing this not too long ago, because when I built these flares to make everything line up, I'll put a tag of that video up here. So we have a straight edge. I have these 1-inch hub spacers. You know, comment below how you feel about these things. I know some people love them, some people hate them. Knock on wood, I never had an issue with them. So we got a little straight edge right here. And the camera might make this look a little funny, but it's looking like 6 7/8 at the top of the bar. And then come over to this wheel. And we're going this direction because I kind of want it lined up on the outside of the car. And is that like 6 5/8? 5/8, 7/8. So that's actually not too bad. So it's about a 1/4 inch difference, which is actually pretty cool, because when I built these flares, I made them a little bit bigger just in case I ever, because those are 315s, in case I ever went to, on a 10.5 inch rim, if I ever went to like an 11-inch rim to fit like 335s under this. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt that up with that 1-inch spacer on the old 275 tire, and we actually should be pretty good. All right, let's I'll knock that out and kind of see what we end up with. All right, here it is, bolted up. You can see if we come around the side, I think we got plenty of room. You know, once this goes up, the camera curve will kind of carry it in a little bit too, so I think we're good. So yeah, looks good. Toyo for the win. All right guys, so I got the Toyos on, and I think that's kind of about where I'm going to wrap this one up. I still got a few other little odds and ends to do, like the hood pins are still missing. That's left over from when we went to the wind tunnel. And I got to get the ductwork back in, but I'm talking like minor stuff. I'm going to get it on the ground, double check the alignment. I'm not going to show that. I did a video on that previously. I'll put a tag up here to my alignment video. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Hopefully you kind of learned something. If not, we're at least entertained for a tiny bit. You know, I haven't done a car video in a little bit of time now. Obviously with moving shops, you know, kind of time is stretched thin. So as always guys, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please consider hitting that subscribe button as well to stay up to date. The next video will be the first race out in 2021 at VIR. I've never been there, so it should be fun. As always, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.